Two new Echo sets will be added with the version 2.4 update, and they're looking to be pretty good. So I sort of wanted to look at the affected roster of characters to see if these sets will change any of our current builds. Now, it is an Aero Infusion set, and we have a decent number of Aero Infusion characters, all with different roles. So let's see if they change anything. But first, what do these sets do? So the Aero set, Windward Pilgrimage, will give 10% arrow damage on the 2-piece, that's pretty standard, and then 10% crit rate and 30% more arrow damage when hitting an enemy with arrow erosion on it. So it does sound pretty niche. It's meant for damage dealers in a comp that can only apply arrow erosion. So let's look at our arrow roster. Firstly, let's get Janjin, Arrow Rover, Xiao Sona, and Yang Yang out of the way. None of them are DPSs, and putting Gusts of Welkin on them is just always better. So we're left with Cartethia, Jian, and Alto. For Alto, the set works only if you're running him with Xiao Sona, because he needs arrow erosion from someone else, plus she's a good arrow buffer. And the current arrow set that we have is pretty similar. Like if you compare them, they're almost the same. Pilgrimage just gives extra 10% crit rate if there is erosion application. So it is an upgrade for Alto. If you can get that requirement, that 10% crit rate is crazy. Now for GN, it is similar, but there are some caveats. Like yes, it's better just comparing the sets, but you have to switch out Mortefi and Shorekeeper, which would be his best comp. So you're losing out on Moonlit, the heavy attack buffs, and Shorekeeper's broken kit. I mean, you can run Xiao Sona and Shorekeeper, but pairing her with Arrow Rover is just better for her. So it gets weird. Overall, GN's build won't really change. It's just weird to do this entire different playstyle switch. You can do it, but I don't really suggest it. So the old win set will be better because Mortefi is crazy and Moonlit is still broken. Then lastly, Cartethia. I mean, it's literally her set, best in slot, that's that. So really, the set is only for the new characters and possible future arrow erosion main DPS characters, although I doubt we get another one anytime soon, if at all. Maybe a 4-star, but the only build this set really changes is main DPS Alto with Xiao Sona, so it's really only being used on Cartethia. Now, let's get on to the more interesting fusion set, because this looks way more universal and kind of broken. 10% fusion as normal on the 2-piece, casting Liberation grants 15% fusion damage to everyone, and 20% Liberation bonus to self. So that 15% applies to the holder as well, which is massive. Let's look at our fusion roster. Mortefi, Lupa, Encore, Chicio, Brand, Changli. Okay, immediately getting Brant out of here. He's so reliant on energy and is really a basic attack DPS, so this set is a significant downgrade on him. Get him out of here. Encore also isn't affected, again, basic attack main DPS. She wants to be buffed, not do the buffing, and Liberation bonus isn't that useful. For Chicia, she does mostly play as a skill DPS. Like, a Liberation bonus is useful on her, and running her with another DPS like Changli works well. And then Lupa is really good because of her fusion buffs, but the basic buff is sort of useless. So Chicia will get more value from Molten Rift herself, and running her with Changli or Lupa doesn't really change that. So Chicia's build isn't getting changed. Next, Mortefi. So this one's interesting. Most of his damage is Liberation, so that's a big upgrade. He's a sub DPS, so the set fits his playstyle and main DPS buffing role, but he has to give up Moonlit's 22.5% attack for the team-wide 15% fusion damage bonus. Now obviously Mortefi isn't really used with fusion characters, only heavy attackers. Jian, Phoebe, Zanny, Denshin, none of them are fusion, so it seems like his build won't change. However, we will be getting Lupa, who, for those who don't know, will be a sub DPS buffer that buffs fusion damage and basic attacks. So if you want to run a triple fusion comp with Mortefi, Lupa, Brant, or Changli, then it gets a lot more value. So it's an upgrade for Mortefi in fusion comps, but up to you if you want to farm a whole new set for him. That being said, he's pretty good for Lupa, so I think it's worth it. But if you only play him with Jian, obviously Moonlit is absolutely crazy. Next up, Changli. So she normally runs the Molten Rift set, even though she's sort of a sub DPS, quick swap DPS character. So the trade-off between the two sets would be losing 15% fusion damage for 20% Liberation damage and a team-wide buff, which is very much worth it, despite Liberation not being a majority of her DPS. Like, yeah, her Liberation does decent damage, but her damage is sort of all over the place, so it doesn't have that crazy a value. Regardless, she is almost always used with another fusion character, mostly with Brant and Chicia, so this set will be a solid upgrade for her. Also, Changli will be amazing with Lupa. The Brant Lupa Changli comp will probably be the best comp when Lupa comes out. It's the new mono fusion, absolutely broken comp. Thank God Changli's being brought back. Having a mono fusion comp will make this new set just that much better, because Brant and Lupa will be getting that fusion buff, and especially for Brant, since he's hard to build and usually is running double ER Echo main stats, that fusion damage bonus will be massive on him. So Changli, big upgrade. This new Echo set, it will be perfect for her. And then same with Lupa. I mean, it's pretty clear that this is her set, best in slot by far. So TLDR, the new Aero set. Janjin, no change. Arrow Rover, no change. Xiao Sona, no change. Yang Yang, no change. It is Alto's best in slot only if you're playing him as a main DPS with an arrow erosion character. Jian, no change unless you want to play some weird Jian erosion comp, but good luck with with that. And then it's Cartethia's best in slot. New fusion set, no change on Brant, no change on Encore, no change on Chixia. Best in slot for Mortefi, only in mono fusion comps. Best in slot for Chang Li in general, and best in slot for Lupa. Cool.